What is happening, my fine-looking shipmates? We are very, very close to my favorite holiday of the year, the 4th of July. So there's no better time to review the USS Massachusetts. After all, Massachusetts and Boston are the cradle of the Revolution. Our road to independence started there. The Boston Tea Party, Lexington, and Concord. It gives me chills. What better ship to give you a look at than a ship from the state that ended our affiliation with monarchy? In fact, I'm going to give you USS Salem this week as well. Twice the America, twice the fireworks. But first, real quick, I'm going to start selling some shirts every now and then on Teespring. These might be funny, they might be related to specific ships. The current shirt campaign involves a Game of Thrones inspired shirt, so if you drink and you sink things, check out the link in the description. This shirt might be up your alley. Also, let me know if you want to see specific designs or even my own logo. Can't imagine much desire for that, but I'm going to throw that out there anyways. Anyhow, back to the review from a state that brought us such things as Worcester, Caz, and Wicked. And that was horrible. I'm sorry, Massachusettsians or Massachusetts or... What are you all? New Englanders! I'm sorry, New Englanders. Massachusetts is a South Dakota or Sodak-class battleship, affectionately nicknamed Big Mammy. Her sister, USS Alabama, is already in-game. You may recall that the Alabama had a little controversy around it when released. First, it was to be a super tester-only ship. Then it had a very high citadel that made her easy to torture. She finally made it in the game, but never quite was able to steal players away from the North Carolina. Enter Massachusetts, a ship we've known that has been coming to the game for a very long time. In fact, I've had this ship for testing since December. In real life, one of the Massachusetts' claim to fame was crippling the French battleship Jean Bart in a gun duel during Operation Torch. Jean Bart is actually coming to the game in the future, so we can recreate this battle. Though Massachusetts might be a sister to the Alabama, she is a very different ship in some ways. But players that like the Alabama will find her very comfortable to play due to the similarities. She shares near identical and awesome anti-torpedo protection at 46% reduction. She's also quite nimble like the Alabama. Though Big Mammy's top speed is a relatively slow 27.5 knots, she can turn when she needs to. This adds to her torpedo defenses because the faster you can turn out, the faster you can avoid them. Also, she shares those 406mm shells that pack an absolute wallop. They hit like trees. The only problem with them, though, is they can be a little unwieldy. Dispersion isn't always the greatest with them, and they feel like musket accuracy sometimes. Throwing out a Revolutionary War analogy there. Your detection range isn't that great in the Big Mammy either, at 16.6 kilometers base. But you can get that down to 12.4 kilometers with proper skills and modules. Anti-aircraft capability is pretty stout on her. She does what American battleships do well, shooting down planes. Average CV players will likely want to avoid her as she will SWAT planes down. None of this really matters though. I mean it does, but it's not why you want to hear about the Massachusetts. You want to know about those secondaries. You heard rumors about the secondaries. You may have even seen them in action. Yes, the Big Mammy has big secondary range, 2.5 kilometers more than the Alabama. In fact, with flags, modules, and skills, you can get those secondaries up to 11.3 kilometers. I will admit, it is quite funny to see your secondaries open up first on almost every ship, to include non-secondary Bismarcks and Alsaces. It's quite charming actually, and it does make the Big Mammy very fun. But here's the thing about the secondaries. They're still just American battleship secondaries with extra range. They are weak, and they lack the fire starting capabilities and the punch that other secondary heavy battleships like the Bismarck have. This ship gives you some hard choices. Actually, it's not that hard. I'll just come out and say it. If you want to excel in this ship, you have to go full secondary. In order to do that, you need a 19-point captain specialized for this ship only. That means AFT, BFT, manual secondaries, and IFHE to make your secondaries hit harder. The round I'm playing in, I'm not using those skills. I took my Missouri captain and slid him on over. That gave me AFT and BFT. It also gave me concealment, but none of those other things I just touched on. As a result, my gun's secondaries aren't hitting as hard as they could. I am starting a meager amount of fires though, more so than I would usually get with IFHE put on. You also sacrifice concealment in a secondary loadout for the Big Mammy, so keep that in mind as well. Not everybody's going to want to do that, so if you get the Massachusetts and want to unlock her full potential, you need to be dedicated. Don't expect to tailor a captain specifically to her you can place on other battleships. Taking IFHE on a battleship is a hard pill to swallow, and highly counterintuitive, but it's a necessity for her. The final decision on whether or not you want the Massachusetts comes down to, do you want the range and accuracy of the Alabama or the secondaries of the Massachusetts? Big Mammy is a fun ship. She's a great ship to take into public battles and to just have fun in. And that's important in this game, having fun that is. However, she's not a competitive ship. In ranked, she's bested by both the Alabama and the North Carolina, which are far more accurate and useful than her. While the Massachusetts isn't a bad ship, she's not a great ship. She's a fun ship, but not overly good. You have to want her, and to have a love for secondaries to want to use her right. You can call her a gimmick, maybe she is, but I have no issue with variety, and it's nice to have a brawler in the USN Battleship line. She's a great ship for public battles where randomness abounds, but outside of that, you might not get a lot of utility out of her. Still, you can have fun in her. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Happy lead up to the 4th of July for you in the States. Everyone else, enjoy the start of summer, unless you're south of the equator. And I will catch you all later. Zoop out.